You ever have one of those days you think is just going to be another chapter in your life, and then bam, something so wild happens, you know you'll remember it forever? Yeah, that's how this story starts. I was just a couple days away from leaving home for basic training, nerves jangling in my chest, trying to soak up every last bit of the mountains I'd grown up with. I thought a final solo hike would settle me, give me the peace I needed before everything changed. But honestly, nothing about that day went the way I expected. I climbed higher than I usually dared, the kind of spot where the trees thin out and the sky seems close enough to touch, when this noise stops me cold. It wasn't wind, it wasn't a bird, and it sure wasn't anything I'd heard in all my years wandering those trails. Heart beating fast, I crept toward the sound slow, careful, all senses switched on. Peering over a ledge, I nearly lost my footing from shock. Down there, maybe 20 feet below, was a bear cub tiny, trembling, letting out these gut-wrenching cries. You ever hear something so sad it just hooks you right in the chest? That was it. But I wasn't alone in feeling it, because right above, pacing the edge and rumbling with panic, was the mama bear herself. She'd try climbing down, claws scrambling on loose rock, but every attempt just sent pebbles raining down, and she'd back off, more frantic each time. I kept my distance, hoping she'd find a way, but even from where I stood, I could see she was about to lose it. The cub's calls got louder. The mama bear's pacing turned desperate, scratching at the cliff's edge like maybe sheer willpower would get her baby back. Now, I don't know if you've ever witnessed the moment an animal realizes it can't save its own kid. It's a sound you don't forget. Both of the mother and cub crying, the echoes bouncing off the rocks, shaking something loose in me. I was terrified, but at that point, I couldn't just stand there and watch. Maybe it was the adrenaline, maybe it was all those pep talks I'd given myself about being brave for the military, but I knew I had to try something. Right then, the cub, just a little ball of fur and panic, tried scrambling up by itself. I watched, breath held, as it climbed shaky, wobbling, way too small for that kind of challenge. Predictably, it slipped. For a split second, I thought I was about to see something awful, but somehow, by some miracle, it landed on the same ledge. My relief lasted all of 2 seconds because now the cub's leg was stuck wedged deep into a crack in the rock, crying out even louder, pawing at the stone, completely helpless. My heart was hammering so hard, it felt like my own body was urging me to move. Problem was, I didn't have my climbing gear. I had a rope, sure, but no way to anchor it. The house was way too far, and going back would mean leaving that cub in pain, maybe for good. So I did what any kid raised by stubborn mountain folk would do: got creative. Pulled the extra junk from my backpack, shared my live location with my folks. Yeah, I know, probably overkill, but you never know, and told them I'd check back in an hour just in case. You know what I mean? No way was I getting close to that mama bear, not with her in that state. I'd have to scale down, then inch across the cliff to reach the cub. Every muscle in my body screamed at me that this was a dumb idea, but my heart just wouldn't let it go. I started climbing, no harness, no second chances, just the rock in me. The cliff was slick, weirdly smooth in places, and every grip felt like a test. At one point, my foot slipped, and for a heartbeat, I saw my whole future flash basic training, all my big plans just gone. But I caught myself, sucked in a shaky breath, and told myself, hey, this is nothing compared to what you're about to face in the Army. Finally, after what felt like hours, probably 10 minutes, but who's counting? My toes scraped the ledge. The cub was right there, tiny, wild-eyed, legs stuck fast. The mama bear, seeing me this close, went berserk, growling and sending little rock slides down the cliff. If a big rock came loose, that'd be the end of both of us. But somehow I tuned it out, pressed my back against the cliff, and spoke softly to the cub. I don't even know what I said, just words, soothing, the way you talk to a scared kid. And believe it or not, it worked. The cub calmed, stopped thrashing, even let me slip my rope under its chest. What happened next? This little thing leaned into me, just rested its head on my chest. For a second, it felt like a hug. That about broke me, right there on the ledge, sweat and dust and tears all mixing together. I tied the rope around my own waist, braced myself, and twisted the cub's leg just enough to free it. It yelped sharp and quick, but then it was loose. I checked for breaks, just scratches and bruises. Thank goodness. But now came the real puzzle. How do you get down a cliff with a bear cub? Climbing up was out of the question. Climbing down was the only way, and even that was risky. Still, I tied the rope around both of us, anchored myself as best I could, and started lowering the cub. The little guy panicked at first who wouldn't, but once it realized I wasn't letting go, it quieted down. Getting it to the ground was maybe the hardest thing I've ever done, muscles screaming, sweat pouring, praying my grip wouldn't give out. When the rope finally went slack, I peeked over cub's safe for paws on earth. But just as I relaxed, the ledge under me started to crumble. No time for a hero moment, just raw, frantic climbing, using every last ounce of strength I had left. I tossed my backpack to the ground to lighten the load and willed my arms to hold on just a little longer. Finally, I made it. I hit the dirt, legs jelly, vision swimming, every muscle on fire. I couldn't move. I lay there, gasping, sun beating down, and all I could do was laugh and cry at the same time. The cub trotted over and climbed right on top of me, like we were old friends or something. I untied the rope, tried to sit up, but no body said, "You're done." So I just lay there, cub beside me, both of us too wiped out to care. Then, out of nowhere, the little bear went stiff. Ears perked, nose twitching. I heard it, two branches cracking, something big moving through the woods. My heart nearly stopped. And there she was, the mama bear. She'd circled around the cliff, tracked us down, and yeah, I'll admit, I thought I was about to be on the news for all the wrong reasons. But what happened next is something I'll never forget. She rushed to her cub, nuzzling and growling in that low, loving way only a mom can. The cub bounced over, and they rolled on the ground, a big, messy, joyous reunion. I just watched, ugly crying, hoping she'd ignore me. But here's the twist, you ready? The mama bear walked over, carrying my battered backpack in her mouth, and dropped it right next to me. Like, here, you drop this. No growl, no threat, just gratitude. Maybe I'm reading into it, but that's what it felt like. She sat down, keeping an eye on her cub and me, making sure everything was cool. We sat there in a weird little peace, wild animals and one exhausted human. My folks started calling my name in the distance, voices echoing through the trees. The mother bear looked up, walked over, and no joke, tapped my foot with her nose before disappearing into the woods, cub at her side. The little one stuck around long enough for one last cuddle, head on my shoulder, then ran after its mom. I just lay there, smiling like an idiot, grateful to be alive, grateful for the craziest day of my life. Later, my parents found me, freaked out but relieved. Dad even climbed back up to get the water bottle I ditched. On the hike home, all I could think about was that moment on the ledge, the feeling of pushing past my fear because someone or something needed me. Years went by, basic training came and went, and every time life threw me something tough, I'd think back to that bear cub, that cliff, the moment I chose courage over comfort. And you know what? On a return trip home, I spotted a bear in the distance, bigger now, maybe with cubs of her own. She paused, looked my way, and I like to believe she remembered me. I mean, who's to say animals don't remember kindness? So what would you have done in my shoes? Risk it all for a wild animal, or play it safe and walk away? Drop your thoughts below. Where's the line between bravery and recklessness? Is it ever wrong to risk your own safety for someone or something you've never met? Let's hear your take, because honestly, that question still sits with me today. And if this story moved you, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe for more wild, real-life moments. You never know what the next hike might bring.